Hey guys, what's up? Daniel T. Cooke here. I am doing another song breakdown, this time for my song Triceratops. This one was really fun. I was inspired by, well, I was actually in the car driving along the interstate and I was getting on the entry ramp and there was a bus in front of me that was going really slow. So I was like, what if this could turn into a song? What would it be like? And so as I was driving, I just kept singing verses and then eventually came up with the chorus and we got this. This bus is going slow, it's making lots of stops. It kinda reminds me of a Triceratops. It's ancient, extinct, and running on fumes. It's on the brink of living in the tombs. Oh, this Triceratops. So there were a lot of fun things that I did in this song. So this is where I first used the kitchen drum set. If you've seen my Only Believe song breakdown, I explained that a little bit. But essentially what I did is I went into the kitchen and I grabbed various objects, a lot of knives, a lot of chopsticks, some glasses. So I got a knife and tapped it against a wine glass to get the piano sound in here. That's I call it the glass keyboard. Kind of sounds like a keyboard, like a glass keyboard. So I get the sound, I record it with an H4n, and then I load the sample into this quick sampler, and then yeah, super cool. That was a really fun thing that I did. So yeah, the kitchen drum set, I recorded a lot of different instruments. I made instruments. Yeah, I recorded like the kitchen cabinet slamming for the kick drum, various objects. So let's look into here. It's kind of crazy. I used a lot of different samples. So that's my shaker right there. That's a weird, I'm not even sure what that sound is. I'm not sure what I was, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, I wanted the bass, the kick drum to be big, I guess. So I just layered a lot of different things to get that sound. Yeah, and I also added an electronic kick drum to give it that like electronic dance feel, the EDM feel. So yeah, together. Oh, so that's an interesting sound there. Let's see if we can find it. Yep. So this was me rubbing my fingers against a chopstick. And then it's really cool when the drum set just cuts out completely. That's in context you can hear how that sounds. Of living in the tombs. Oh, this Triceratops is bad, bad news. Oh, this Triceratops is bad, bad. Of living in the tombs. Oh, this. So I use a lot of sound effects in this. So this is a motorcycle revving its engine, because the song is pretty much about a bus that's just going really slow. So it's being described as like this ancient thing, this Triceratops. It's just not getting along very fast. And so kind of to play into that, I got a lot of sound effects of engines revving, and even dinosaurs. So let's take a look at those things. They're pretty cool. So here is the motorcycle engine. And then I cut it off, like the sound
sample actually goes a lot longer. But I wanted to have that abrupt cutoff just for effect.
Oh, this Triceratops is...
Because it sounds really cool when the vocal just is the only thing. It's like there's this anticipation of the beat coming in again, which is fun to do.
Oh, this Triceratops is bad, bad news. It's the...
All right, so let's take a look at some other sounds. So for the dinosaur roar, which you can hear right here, I actually combined two sounds. So the first sound is the dinosaur hiss, and then the second one is the lion roar. So we'll isolate those. So you got the dinosaur roar, and then the lion's roar adds a little more substance to it. And both together sounds pretty cool. So what I did is I got those two sounds and I bounced them in place, which you can do Control B. You just select your clips and then Control B. Okay, you can name it if you want to, and then it makes a recording that has both of the sounds. All right, so we'll go ahead and mute those, and then I bounced it twice so I could do some panning. So I have one in the right, one in the left. Which makes it sound like the dinosaurs all around you.
Triceratops, it's ancient, extinct, and running on fumes. It's on.
All right, let's find some other sound effects here.
Booms. Oh, this Triceratops is bad, bad news.
So this is the same motorcycle rev that we heard earlier. Then we have it again here. This time it's a little longer.
It's going so slow, I don't know if it'll get a hold of itself. And I can't help but think it'll soon be just a memory on my shelf.
So we've just, I was just thinking about how the bus is like ancient, extinct. It's going so slow.
Going so slow, I don't know if it'll get a hold of itself. And I can't help but think it'll soon be just a memory on my shelf.
So I think it's not going to last much longer. This bus is about to break down. So kind of in line with that, I have several attempts to start the engine, and the engine just does not start. And you hear that here. Yep, and then we finally get it going, which that just adds to the character of the song.
This bus is going slow, it's making lots of stops. It kinda reminds me of a Triceratops. It's ancient, extinct, and running on fumes. It's on the brink.
We've got an obnoxious dinosaur scream right there. That just makes this song that much more funny. We're including elements of the Triceratops, the dinosaur, and the bus. So we're combining those to make it interesting.
Oh, this Triceratops is bad, 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 bad news.
All right, so here we've got some whispers. I'm just repeating what the melody's saying in those voices. So let's isolate those.
It's ancient, extinct, and running on fumes. It's on the brink.
And in context. Maybe. There we go.
It's ancient, extinct, and running on fumes. It's on the brink. of living in the tombs. Oh, this Triceratops is
That just, it adds another interesting layer. Super cool. I do it again here.
but sure ain't going fast. It's eating lots of gas, but sure ain't going fast. It kinda seems like it's.
Here's a little bit of confusion within the vocals. So I'm describing it as a bus, but I'm also describing it as a dinosaur. So it's eating lots of gas. The bus is eating lots of gas, but the dinosaur is eating lots of grass.
Going fast, lots of gas, but sure ain't going fast. It kinda seems like it's coming from the past.
And then the ancient extinct running on fumes is whispered again.
Ancient, extinct, and running on fumes. It's on the brink of living in the tombs.
I think I do it one more time here.
Ancient, extinct, and running.
But there, the dinosaur scream is just drowning it out. It's kind of funny. All right, moving on to the vocals. So this was fun. I did one take, but I added enough distortion and pitch correction that I didn't need to worry about it being perfect.
This bus is going slow. It's making lots of stops. It kinda reminds me of a
So I made the response as fast as possible, which makes it sound almost mechanical, which is really what this song is going for, because you've got the kitchen percussion, which is a lot of clicks, a lot of like taps on iron skillets. So it's got that metallic sound. So to complement that, the voice needs to have also a mechanical sound. So yeah, I put the response super fast on there, and then I added some grit and some distortion to it. That's just a guitar effect that I put on my vocals. I put a delay on there, which is another guitar plugin, another amp, then a compressor and a limiter. Which doesn't look like I did a whole lot with that. Yeah. And with the vocals, I actually just copied the audio file and made it sound an octave lower. Well, let's play the vocals
buses
first.
go.
We'll play the vocals so you can hear those.
Going slow, it's making lots of stops. It kinda reminds me of a Triceratops. It's ancient, extinct, and running on fumes. It's on the brink.
So I wanted to have more grit to this, so I doubled it an octave lower. You can just go to the region and transpose. So you can either select this or you can just drag it to whatever you want. So I just did -12. And this is what that sounds like.
This bus is going slow, it's making lots of stops. It kinda reminds me of a Triceratops. It's ancient, extinct, and running on fumes. It's on the brink of living in the tomb. So
that's Daniel with epic morning voice, or when he's like super sick and his voice goes down 2 octaves. Fun story. I was in an all-state youth choir in high school, and I actually did get sick, and my voice really did sound like that. I could go really low. I could hit the C, the low C, the C below the staff, the bass clef. I could hit that note easily, and so I won a contest. Well, I tied for first place with being the bass who could sing the lowest. So that was quite an achievement, but it was all due to me being sick. So I kind of I mimicked that effect by pitching my voice down, and I also added more distortion on this one, more grit, so that you can see actually that looks pretty much the same. Fascinating. Yeah, so I added distortion to the bass voice as well. The voice pitched an octave lower, so you can hear how that added grit helps.
This bus is going slow, it's making lots of stops. It kinda reminds me of a Triceratops. It's ancient, extinct, and running on fumes. It's on the brink
It sounds kind of like you would expect a dinosaur to sound.
Of living in the tombs. Oh, this Triceratops is bad, bad news. Sure ain't going fast. It kinda seems like it's coming from the past. It's ancient, extinct, and running on fumes. It's on the brink of living in the tombs.
But that wasn't enough. I also pitched my voice up 3 octaves. And as you can tell, I didn't like it for most of the vocal part because I muted it. But if you want to hear it with the voice pitched 3 octaves higher.
This bus is going slow, it's making lots of stops. It kinda reminds me of a...
It sounds kind of weird. Isolated, it sounds like this. So I didn't really want that because it sounded so strange. But in select parts, I thought it was pretty awesome. Yeah, but it sounds really good with the other vocals, so...
Oh, this Triceratops is bad, bad news. Memory on my shelf. Bad, 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 bad news.
Yeah, in context.
Oh, this Triceratops is bad, bad news. Memory on my shelf. Oh, this Triceratops is bad, 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 bad news.
So yeah, it's super fun to play around with voices. You don't need just one melody for your song. You can be creative and pitch shift it, make it an octave higher, make it 3 octaves higher, make it an octave lower, combine them together. It's really cool when you do stuff like that. I did that for the bump 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 bums as well. I actually got my wife to help me on this one, so I've got her voice in without any transposition. And then I duplicated it an octave higher. And of course I had to add my voice as well, so I added my voice and then transposed that an octave higher. And then 2 octaves higher, and so we have 4 voices, 2 of Jen and 2 of me. And of course I had to add sleigh bells because that's cool. I can't take full credit for this though because my friend Paul Kaufman suggested I add something like this. I wouldn't have thought of it probably. So that's where it's cool to bring other people and bring other composers and musicians into your projects and say, hey, what do you think of this? What could be better? And this was something that he suggested I do, and I think it makes the song. It is such a cool addition. And of course I pitch corrected that as well. I didn't put any grit on that. It didn't really need to be distorted or edgy. It needed to be kind of childlike and playful. So in context, it sounds like this.
Oh, this Triceratops is bad, bad news. It's eating lots of gas, but sure ain't going fast. It kinda seems like it's coming from the past. It's ancient, extinct, and running on fumes. It's on the brink of living in the tube.
I have a synthesizer in here. And then I added a delay to that, which makes it play in faster intervals, which gives it a really cool sound. I like doing that with synthesizers. Makes it super cool. I used my 2 basses. These are, you can find these in the stock instruments in Logic, the Liverpool and Subi. I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, it makes a cool sound when you put it together. So I just use a summing track, and then you can record it just one time instead of like having to record 2 basses and quantize them. So it's super cool making instruments like that. And with the synthesizer, it sounds pretty cool. The bass part in the bridge is kind of fun. Sounds really cool with the percussion. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I mentioned earlier the sound effects. We have sound effects for dinosaurs, and we also have sound effects for automobiles, like engine revs. So I wanted to capture that in the album cover as well, which I used AI to design the album cover, and so that was one of the options. I actually ran a poll to see what people liked the best. That was my favorite. And then there was that one, the dinosaur is a bus. Kind of cool. And then you guys voted this one to be the one that was chosen, which I've grown to like that one actually. It's got a good contrast of dark colors and bright colors, so I think it really makes a nice cover photo. So you hear a lot of drops in this song. I use the fade tool to slow down the mix. And I just added a fade on pretty much all the tracks here. And to do that, you'll just want to bounce your MIDI file into place so you can have an audio track, because the fade only works on audio tracks. And then the shortcut is TA. And then you have the fade tool, or you can go up here, just like the fade tool, right click, press slow down. And then that'll get that effect, which is super cool. I did that on my vocals as well. There's a second way that I did a drop, and I used the remix tool. It's an audio plugin. I put it on my stereo out track. So you just select that, go to multi-effects, and then remix tool. And that looks like this. It's a super cool effect. And so the whole thing kind of comes to a grinding halt, kind of like before you expect it to end, which makes the ending kind of unique, and it keeps the song interesting to the very last second, which is important to do. What I envisioned was the dinosaur stepping in and like just like ending the song prematurely. So it's like the dinosaur has a role in the song and like hijacks the song at the end. The way you get this effect is you can press any of these buttons. I just play around with them. Triceratops.
Triceratops is bad, bad, bad news.
So you have a lot of different options. What I did is I automated it, which you can see right here. I only wanted the effect for a limited period of time. So the way you automate this is you go to touch, and then it records it for you. Just be sure to put it back in read before you do that. Before you finish, because if you leave it in touch, anytime you touch a button, it'll record that. So read is just when you're playing the song, no matter what you touch, it's not going to record that automation. But when you do have that set to touch, you can edit your song and add automation.
Oh, this Triceratops is bad, bad, bad news.
So yeah, then go to read to finish out, and then it'll lock that in so that when you press your effects again, it doesn't record them. So let's undo all that because we don't need that. Cool. Huh. Muy interesante. Oh, somehow it's I left it clicked. Yeah, that's Triceratops. It was super fun to work on. So if